comfortable seat. So maybe you take a couple of moments and grab a blanket or a pillow. Sometimes if you boost that underneath your hips, you kind of tilt your pelvis forward a little bit. You can find a little more length in the spine. You can have your legs crossed, or if it feels better, maybe even bring your legs out long. Just find somewhere comfortable that you can kind of wiggle back and forth, and then let those sit bones, that kind of bottom portion of your pelvis, those two bones on either side, feel them grounding down into the earth. And then once you kind of feel settled here, see if you can find a little length in your spine. So let the crown of your head start to reach up towards the sky. Maybe you can kind of roll your shoulders up and back, letting those shoulders relax away from the ears. Maybe you can kind of squeeze those shoulder blades together behind you. And then close your eyes down. Start to take a couple nice deep breaths. Really see if you can bring that air in, really fill up your lungs, almost like you were trying to pull the air all the way down to those sit bones planted. And then as you exhale, see if you can bring that air all the way back up, breathing with purpose, letting it all come back out the nose. Maybe taking a nice deep cleansing breath here. So as you inhale, fill your lungs up completely. And then open your mouth, sigh it all out. Make some noise. I promise no one can hear you, so go ahead and make some noise. Do one more. Big, huge inhale. Fill yourself up. Open your mouth, sigh it all out. Just kind of clearing out any stale energy or anything from the bottom of the lungs there. Starting to warm your lungs up a little bit here. Letting things expand and contract. Smoothing that breath out a little bit. Maybe taking an extra 2-3 seconds for that inhale, an extra 2 or 3 seconds for that exhale. Really filling the lungs up, letting things go. And then start to take a scan of your body here. See how things are doing. Maybe you start with the head. See if there's any tension that you're holding on to. Maybe it's kind of in the temples or between the eyebrows. Maybe it's your jaw. A lot of us have this tendency to kind of clench our jaw. Just let it go. The tongue is at the roof of your mouth. See if you can relax that away. Maybe even let the jaw hang open a little bit, wiggling it around. And start to work your way down the body. See how those shoulders are feeling today. A lot of shoulder hunching tends to go on. We kind of have this internally rotated life, on our phones, on our computers, driving, anything like that. So letting that heart open up a little bit, kind of release some of that tightness that you have in those muscles back there. And working your way down, start to tune into the core here. Maybe you start to draw your belly button slightly in and up. Starting to engage things here. That core and those muscles that are wrapping around is what really helps support you. And working your way down the hips, maybe a nice little wiggle side to side. The hip is the largest joint in your body, so it can get very tight, and there's a lot of range of motion there. And then work your way down, feel out your fingers and toes. Maybe you kind of wiggle them, squeeze them, extend them. Start to feel them out a little bit, because a lot of times we don't pay too much attention, maybe a little more attention to fingers, but toes always kind of get neglected. And considering we're walking around on them all day, they're supporting us, give them a little love too. Taking a couple more deep breaths here, just preparing yourself. And then slowly letting your eyes flutter open if you haven't already. Bring our arms out to the sides. As you inhale, bring those arms up to shoulder height, thumbs facing up. And then see if you can actively kind of reach out. Let those fingertips pull as far away from the shoulders as you can. And then from here, on our next inhale, start to rotate those thumbs behind you. Start to let those arms draw back behind you. Your heart may start to open a little bit. Your gaze might come up a little bit. And then with your next exhale, round forward. Maybe those fingers come together to touch. And start taking this at your own pace. Full length of the inhale to open, full length of the exhale to close. Maybe you slow down the breath, and that'll slow down the pace of your movement. Take this opportunity to really tie that movement to the breath. The breath is what's going to guide you through your practice today. Take one more round. And next time you come back together, letting those hands come back down, making your way back to the seat. Let's take our legs out nice and long in front of us. Do a little bit of motion in there too. Now bend your knees a little or a whole bunch here. You might even want to stick like a blanket or a pillow underneath them. Bend it as much as feels comfortable, and then see if you can flex your toes towards your nose, and maybe even kind of rolling open a little bit so your inner thighs start to turn up towards the sky. From here, keep grounding down through those sit bones. Find some length in the low back. See if you can point your tailbone down to the earth. Then on your next inhale, let's reach the arms up overhead. Start to turn yourself towards that right leg. As you exhale, start to come on down. Now it's still pretty early, so you might not go as far as you think you might need to. Be gentle here. We're really just warming things up. We'll do a little more of this towards the end of practice, and you'll find that with the warmer muscles, you'll maybe be able to go a little bit further. On your next inhale, coming back up. Exhale, release. Inhale, lifting those arms overhead again, this time turning towards the left. Exhaling, folding over that left leg. And yeah, bend into that left knee as much as you'd like here. The more you bend that knee, the more you might feel a little extension in the low back, another spot where we hold a lot of tension and we can have some pain through the low back. And any extension that you can get here will feel nice. And slowly working your way back up. Let's bring those legs together and take a nice seated forward fold. So inhaling, bring those arms up. Exhaling, reach on down. Yeah, bend those knees so much so that maybe you can reach for the toes. And then if you do have those toes, maybe you point the toes. Now stretch out the shoulders a little bit. And then we're not trying to get our nose down towards our knees. If anything, we're trying to get our nose out past our toes. Finding that length in the back. Nice. From here, inhaling, rolling back up. We're going to come over and do a tabletop position. Let's take a few rounds of cat and cow to warm up. So take a moment to square yourself off. Your knees will come right underneath the hips. Your hands will come right underneath the shoulders. Spread those fingers out nice and wide. And then as you inhale, start by tucking the tailbone up, let the belly drop. Maybe you bend those elbows a little bit, let that chest come forward, and then your gaze will be the last thing to rise. You'll start to feel a stretch in the bottom of the belly here. And then as you exhale, roll that spine like a wave or like a snake. Your gaze will end at your belly button. So taking a few rounds here. And really see if you can kind of isolate and imagine each vertebrae moving one by one as you go from your cat to your cow. After your next cat pose, coming back to neutral. Let's take some hip circles here. So exhaling, let the hips come to the left. You can sink back towards the child's pose. As you inhale, coming forward, maybe putting a little bit of pressure on those wrists, stretching them out, but being gentle. And then next time your hips come back towards your heels, take it in the opposite direction. If you're getting a particularly nice stretch to the sides, maybe you pause for a breath or two. Really breathe into that space. And then once you feel evened out, coming back to neutral, we're going to take that right leg back behind us and spin that foot flat. So pressing it into the ground. going to lean into the left hand and open up for a modified side plank here. So start by stacking the shoulders right on top of each other. Really press into the outside edge of that right foot. And then that bottom knee, you can bring the shin right in line with the back leg. That'll be a little bit more difficult on the balance. Or bring it back like a kickstand, a little more support there. Taking the gaze wherever feels comfortable. Maybe it's up towards the sky, maybe it's down towards the left hand pressing. Option to stay here, or if you'd like to add a little bit more, maybe you bring that right foot up to a hover. If you do, flex those toes, in towards the nose, start to feel that engagement. The right leg through the right glute. Nice. One more big breath in. Exhale, bring it all back down. We're going to leave those right toes back there. And now we're going to lean onto the right hand. So as you inhale, we're going to turn that left hand up towards the sky. Now you're getting a twist here. So similar pose, but working completely different muscles. Maybe take the gaze up towards those left fingertips or down towards the right hand. Yeah, this is a balance pose. See if you can keep that breath nice and long. See if you can relax the jaw. One more big breath in. Exhale, bring it back down. And then this time we're going to lift that right heel off the ground and start to press that foot towards the back of your mat. Turn all 5 toes down towards the ground. Find your balance here. And then either staying there or maybe you start to extend that left arm long. Draw the belly in, contract the abs. It'll help support you here. Tuck the chin in, take the gaze to the ground. Find a little length in the back of the neck here. One more big breath in. Exhale, bring it all back down. Give yourself a nice little hip wiggle before we take things to the other side. I'll turn around here to be a little easier. So taking those left toes back behind you this time, spin that left foot flat. We're going to press into the right hand this time. Left fingertips reach up towards the sky. Find that hip kind of pressing, kind of that midline right between the head and the foot. So it kind of pops right into place. Pressing that hip down towards that foot. Nice. That bottom foot can be back as a kickstand, or you can bring it in line if you'd like to challenge the balance. And then either staying here, or maybe you start to flex that foot and lift it up towards hip height. Yeah, maybe you wiggle, maybe you wobble, maybe you fall over, but that's half the fun. Excellent. One more big breath in. Exhale, bring that foot back down, bring both hands back down. We'll come up high on those back toes, this time pressing the weight into the left hand, opening the right arm up. You press that left heel towards the back of your mat. And then maybe you let your heart draw towards the front of your mat. So even though you're twisting, you're still finding some length in the spine. One more big breath in. Exhale, bring it back down. Left heel will start to rise, press it towards the back of the room. And then see if you can keep your hips right in alignment with each other. So sometimes that means dropping the left hip slightly so it comes right in line with the right. Either staying here or maybe you start to extend that right arm out long. Nice strong core, nice smooth breath. Big inhale, maybe you lift up a little higher. Exhale, bring it all back down. We'll take a child's pose here. So knees can be together, or it might feel nice to bring those knees out wide, maybe even towards the edge of your mat. Get a little hip opening there. Let those fingers reach out nice and long. Maybe even let your forehead drop down to the mat. You can roll from one temple to the other, kind of massaging out that space between the eyebrows. And then from here, take a nice big inhale. As you exhale, walk both hands over to the right. So your hips are both still sinking back towards the heels evenly, but you're getting this nice opening underneath the left shoulder. On your next inhale, coming back through center, exhaling, taking it out over to the left. Those hips sink nice and heavy towards the heels. And slowly walking your way back through center. Come on up to our knees and we'll make our way all the way up to a stand. So take a moment here to find your mountain pose. So bring your heels right underneath your hips. Let your shoulders stack right on top of your hips. Point that tailbone down towards the ground. Let those shoulders open, fingers reaching down towards the ground, really engaged here. Let those shoulders come away from the ears. Excellent. Now from here, let's take an interlace behind the back if that feels okay. If not, you can just kind of bring the hands to the low back. But as you inhale, see if you can draw those knuckles down towards the ground. So those shoulders are wrapping back. That heart might draw forward a little bit. And take a nice big breath in here. And as you exhale, tip the right ear towards the right shoulder. So you're getting a nice extension through the left side of the neck. And then maybe you play with the angle of the head slightly. So maybe you start to look down towards your mat. Maybe you start to look up towards the sky. Being gentle here. Those necks are funny little things. On your next inhale, coming back through center, and then exhaling, tipping to the other side. Left ear towards left shoulder. Those knuckles are still reaching down towards the ground, so you're still getting that nice shoulder stretch, but just adding a little bit of neck into it here. You can gaze up or down, whatever feels nice. On your next inhale, coming back through center, you can release that interlace. Take a nice big breath in, arms raised overhead. Exhale, fold all the way down. We'll pause here for a ragdoll. So maybe you heel toe those feet a little bit wider than hips width. Bend your knees a whole bunch. Let your belly start to come onto your thighs. And then let the crown of your head reach down towards the ground. So you're really getting a nice lengthening sensation through the spine. Maybe you grab opposite elbows, sway back and forth. You can shake the head out, yes and no. Really let the weight of your head help elongate your body here. And then if you do have those elbows, you can let them go. Heel toe those feet back together. We're going to inhale to a flat back, halfway lift. Now bring your hands and bring them to the thighs. Press the thighs away from you. Let your tailbone reach back. And tuck your chin in and let the crown of your head reach forward. Nice engaged belly here. That'll help support the low back. One nice big breath in. Exhale, fold back down. We'll inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, bring the hands through heart center. We'll bring them back down to mountain pose. Now from here, we're going to start with a high lunge. So standing at the front of your mat, we're going to step back with the right foot and stay lifted on those back toes. Now it might take you a moment here to kind of get your stance set up. If you're feeling a little wobbly, maybe you widen your stance so that your left foot comes more towards the edge of your mat, right foot comes towards the other edge. And then start to sink the hips here. So maybe you creep those left toes forward a little bit more. Really starting to feel that stretch through that right hip flexor. You can point that tailbone down. That'll help stretch it out a little bit more. And then on your next inhale, bring those arms up overhead. Now we're going to try and get our hips more square towards the front of your mat. So that might mean bringing that left hip back as that right hip draws forward. Yeah, breathe here. Well, nice deep breath. You're reaching your fingers up nice and high, but you're still letting those shoulders come away from the ears. And a nice big breath in. As you exhale, bring those arms in front of you, and we're going to cross the right arm across the chest, and bend that left elbow, hug it in. On your next inhale, unravel, and we'll take it to the other side. Left arm crosses over, right arm pulls in. Yeah, right now those hips and thighs are starting to talk to you. Maybe you sink a little lower. You got this. Inhale, release back out. Bring those fingers back up. One more nice big breath in. As you exhale, step it back forward. Come to a mountain pose at the top of your mat. Maybe you shake it out a little bit. You can rock back and forth on your toes and on your heels here. Spread those toes out nice and wide. Get a nice foundation here. And then as you're ready, we'll take this to the other side. So we're going to step back with the left foot. Stay high on those toes. And find your pose here. Maybe you widen, maybe you lengthen. You can bend into that front knee. As long as that right knee isn't going past the right ankle, then you can go down as far as you'd like here. Yeah, maybe this side feels different than the other. Point that tailbone down. And then let those arms come up. Nice deep breaths here. Sometimes it feels nice if you want to kind of open the shoulders here, bring your arms towards cactus, drawing those elbows back behind you. Heart may start to turn up towards the sky. Nice. Now this time, we're going to take that right hand, bring it down like where the tag would be in your shirt here. And then we'll take the left arm up and grab onto that right elbow, stretching yourself out here. Still in that nice deep lunge. Keep breathing. And inhaling, letting it go, taking it to the other side. Left hand comes down, like right where that tag would be. Right hand grabs that left elbow. Keep squaring your hips forward. Excellent. And inhaling, letting that go, coming back into your high lunge one more time. Deep breath in. Exhale, step back forward, shake it out. Now from here, we're going to set ourselves up for a warrior two. So starting at the top of your mat once again, we're going to step back with that right foot. But this time you're going to spin that foot flat. So the whole foot is flat on the ground, kind of at a 45, anywhere between a 45 and a 90-degree angle. And then we're going to bend nice and deep into that left knee. Fingers are going to reach front to back of the mat. Now maybe you kind of wiggle back and forth. See if you can bring those shoulders right on top of the hips. Maybe you look forward fingertip to fingertip. See if the fingers are in alignment with each other. And then drop the shoulder. Now from here, we'll take a little bit of a flowing motion. So as you inhale, we're going to flip our palms up, straighten the front leg. Fingertips will come together to touch overhead. As you exhale, slowly rebend, palms facing down, reaching back to your warrior two. Take this at your own pace. Nice and slow with control. The slower you go, the more you really feel the connection. One muscle to the next. Nice. A couple more rounds here. Maybe each time you bend a little bit more into that front knee. And then while you're bending into that front knee, see if you can press it out to the left a little bit. That hip opening up. One more round, finishing back in your warrior two. From here, we're going to reach forward, flip that front palm, reverse. So those left fingertips are reaching up high. See if you can really reach out here and try and touch the ceiling before you start to tip back. So you're really looking for that lengthening through the side. And then that right arm, it's not really being supported too much by that leg. It's just kind of hanging there because you're lifting so much so out of your left fingertips. One more big breath in. Exhale, coming back to your warrior two. And drop the hands to your hips. We'll turn all 10 toes towards the long edge of our mat. And a nice wide stance here. A little bit of a bend in your knees, a little bit of a bounce there. As you inhale, bring those arms up overhead. As you exhale, fold forward. Yeah, bend those knees as much as you'd like here. Just like when we were doing our forward fold with the feet together, bend those knees. Let the belly start to kind of draw in between the thighs here. Nice. And then from here, walking your hands forward, come into a wide-legged downward facing dog here. Maybe you can kind of come up to your fingertips, kind of tenting your hands a little bit. Take a nice big breath in. As you exhale, walk those hands over to the right. So they're not coming towards the right foot, they're kind of coming out at an angle. So you're getting that nice opening to the underside of the shoulder again. Inhaling through center. Exhale, take it out over to the left. Nice stretch to the side body. And slowly coming back through center. Walk those hands back underneath the shoulders. We're slowly going to come all the way back up to a stand. Now from here, turn your right toes towards the back of your mat. And we're going to come into warrior two on the opposite side. So now you're bending deeply into that right knee, facing the back of your mat. Take a moment to find your pose here. Pressing through the outside edge of that left foot, sinking through that right knee. Beautiful. And then taking that flow again. Inhaling, flip the palms, bring them together to touch. Exhale, come back down. Nice and slow, come back to that super long breath. Really filling up the belly with each inhale. Beautiful. Take one more round. Finishing in your warrior two. And then reversing. Reach forward, flip the palm, go back. Right fingertips reaching high. Maybe your gaze follows those fingertips. Or maybe you can take the gaze down towards that left foot pressing. Sometimes that can change the sensation. Nice big breath in. Exhaling back to our warrior two. Drop the hands, turn those toes towards the long edge of the mat once more. Take a nice big breath in, reach up. Exhale, fold. Now this time we'll set ourselves up for a twist. So bringing your hand either to the ground, or if you've got like a coffee table nearby or a chair or something that can boost you up a little bit, that's an option too. But pressing into that left hand, see if you can keep your hips exactly where they are. And then as you inhale, that right arm comes up towards the sky. So you're not kicking that right hip out to the right. You're keeping them right in line with each other, so you're getting a really nice spinal twist. Take another nice big breath in. Exhale, we'll switch. Right hand comes down, left arm opens up. Breathe. Keeping that bend in the knees. One more huge breath in. Exhale, bring it down. Slowly come all the way back up to a stand. And then we'll wiggle those feet together. You can come to the top of your mat. And back to your mountain pose one more time. Now from here, I'll do just a little bit of balance today. We'll go for a tree pose. So if you're like me and you're on carpet, sometimes it can be a little extra wobbly. So maybe you grab a wall or you grab a buddy. Start by finding your balance. Close your eyes. A lot of times that really changes your perception of where you are in space. Let those shoulders open. Nice deep breaths. And maybe you lift up all 10 toes, spread them wide, and slowly press them back down to the earth. Finding all four corners of each foot The ball mound of your big toe, your pinky toe pressing both edges of your heels. And then from here, start to slowly shift that weight into the left foot. Now, once you shift that weight, your right foot basically doesn't have anything that it's kind of supporting anymore. So maybe that finds somewhere to go on your left leg. Now you can keep it at a kickstand right here with your big toes down. You can even bring your foot like onto a pillow or a block here. Or maybe you find somewhere like the shin or the thigh to bring your foot. As long as you're avoiding that knee, because it hardly takes any pressure to blow that knee out. And then maybe you bring your hands to heart center. See if you can squeeze everything towards the midline. So that right foot is pressing into the left leg. Left leg is pressing into the right foot. Hands are pressing together. Yeah, find your strength here. Yeah, you'll probably start to wobble. You might fall out. It's all about keeping calm through these kind of goofy motions. You got this. Breathe. One more big inhale here. Exhale, step it on down. Shake it off a little. Bring your feet a little bit wider than hips width. And we're going to kind of take the only thing I've ever heard this called is empty coat sleeves. So you kind of pretend like you are a kid at the bus stop and they put their arms in their coat and they just kind of let it go around. So slowly just let yourself kind of sway. Maybe you come up onto toes as you go from one side to the other. Just kind of a nice little wiggle it out type of stretch. And then letting that dissolve. Bring those feet back together. Come back to that mountain pose again. Point that tailbone down. Let those shoulders open up. Let the crown of the head come high. Nice neutral chin. Find those toes. Find those feet. Spread them out nice and wide. Nice solid foundation. And then we'll take it to the other side. Starting to shift the weight into that right leg. Nice and strong. Planting down. And then that left foot might find somewhere to go on that right leg. Now maybe it's completely different because maybe your right foot is flatter than your left foot. So maybe this time it would feel better to have the toes down. Maybe this time it would feel better to bring them higher. But once you find your spot, squeeze everything together, like you're squeezing your hips together, everything towards the core, and dialing down like you're literally growing roots out of that right foot planted. You are a tree. Yeah, I didn't say it on the other side, but if you'd like, always the option to open up. Take some kind of different arm pose here. Maybe fingers are down, maybe you come out to cactus. Always so many options, and that's kind of the fun thing about yoga is that there is no end to any of these poses. There's always something else. There's always somewhere to go. Even if you've been practicing yoga for 2 days or 20 years, there's always something new. You've got this. One more nice big breath in. Exhale, let it go, shake it off. Let's inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Take another nice deep forward fold here. So maybe you take another ragdoll, heel toeing the feet apart, grabbing elbows. Sometimes it feels nice to take gorilla. Bend those knees so much that you can bring those hands underneath your feet here. And then you can kind of work those toes up towards the wrist creases, kind of stepping into the hands a little, giving yourself a little massage. Maybe even bend the elbows, pull yourself down a little bit more. Yeah, maybe bend and straighten the legs slightly. That changes things. And if you do have those hands, letting them go. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, and we'll come down to our knees. A little bit of backward here. So we're going to take camel. There's going to be a little bit of a progression. So I'm going to take what you need, and we'll kind of go through the process. So tucking those toes underneath you. Start by bringing your hands to the low back. Really support that kidney area. Your thumbs may wrap around your sides, fingers pointing down. So it's almost like you're pressing that tailbone, you're helping that tailbone point down towards the ground. From here, let the crown of the head reach high. Take a nice big breath in. As you exhale, maybe you start to arch back, but keep pressing those hips forward. You want to keep those hips right over those knees. So if you start leaning back like this, you're not doing yourself any service there. So you're really lengthening through the low back, and any arch you're getting is kind of coming from that upper spine. Maybe you let the head go back, or maybe you keep it tucked in. If you tend to get lightheaded, keep that chin tucked. One more big breath in. Exhale, bring yourself back up, and come down to a child's pose briefly. Just kind of counteracting that back bend with a nice forward fold. And then slowly coming back up to your knees. Now we're going to take a little bit of a deeper camel. We'll do it side to side. So if it's a little intense, then go right back to the back hold here. But as you inhale, we're going to raise the right arm up overhead. As you exhale, start to bring it down behind you. Maybe you grab onto that heel. If that's not feeling good, maybe it's below back again. Then inhale, bring that left arm up. Still pressing those hips forward. Keep those hips over the knees. Maybe you take the gaze up. Maybe you tuck the chin. Nice. One more big breath in. As you exhale, support that low back as you come back up. Wiggle it out, and we'll go right to the other side. So inhaling the left arm up, exhaling, bringing it down towards the left heel. And on your next inhale, maybe that right arm reaches up. Press those hips forward. Nice. One more big breath in. Exhale, supporting that low back, come back up. And then we're going to come all the way down to a seat once more. Now extending those legs out nice and long once again. We're going to take that same stretch we did before, but we're going to see how loose you feel this time. Hopefully you've stretched out a little bit, so this should feel really nice. So taking the feet out nice and wide, bend those knees as much as you'd like here. Take a nice big inhale, bring the arms up overhead. Start to turn towards that right leg. Exhale, slowly fold over. And yeah, notice how your body feels different now. You've been moving for about 40 minutes. Things start to warm up, they become more pliable. And yeah, the more you straighten the knee, the more you'll feel this in the hamstring. The more you bend the knee, the more you'll feel this in the low back, letting that extend out. Slowly working your way back up. Square those hips back off. We'll inhale, arms overhead, turning towards the left. Fold back over. Really drawing that nose out towards the toes. Not jamming that face down into the knee. And see if you can keep both sit bones pressing into the ground evenly. So you'll start to feel a little stretch through the back side as well. And slowly working your way back up. This time, let's bring the soles of the feet together, knees out wide. And you can bring those heels in as close to the hips as is comfortable, or if it's a little intense, you can kind of bring them out a little bit further. But sit up nice and tall here. So maybe you can kind of take that wiggle side to side, sit bones grounding down, find that big long spine. Yeah, and if you're already feeling this through the hips, it's a great place to stop. But if you do need a little bit more, maybe you slowly start to fold forward. Now, once again, we're not trying to stick our nose to our toes. You probably don't want to smell that anyway. But you're really kind of extending the chest forward, finding that length. So we're not just taking care of our hips and opening them up. We're also letting our spine get nice and long. Nice, deep breath. And making your way back up. We're going to come all the way down onto our spines. Take a nice figure four here. A little more hips, a little more glutes. So with the left foot down, we're going to cross the right ankle over the left knee. Now, this is a great place to stop if you're already feeling this, especially if you have tighter hips. Or if you need a little more, maybe you start to press that right knee away from you. You still need a little more. Maybe you start to draw that left knee into the chest. You can grab the back of the thigh or the front of the shin. And then maybe you rock slightly to the left. See how that changes things. Get a little more of a stretch to that right glute, perhaps. Always the option to extend that left foot up to the sky as well. Tons of options here. So find something that feels really, really good. We're winding down here, kind of letting all that work we've done resonate. Nice big breath in. Exhale, let that go. Maybe you windshield wiper those knees back and forth. That might feel nice. Or maybe you bring your feet out towards the edges of your mat and let one knee slowly drop to center and then the other. And then setting ourselves up for the other side. Right foot will be down, left ankle crosses over that knee. And then take this where you want it to go on this side. Maybe you start by pressing away. Maybe you do draw that knee in. Maybe this time the foot goes up towards the sky. And then seeing how things change as you rock slightly to the right. Really getting that glute loosened up. Then once you feel evened out on this side, bringing that foot back down, releasing. Tuck the knees into the chest here. Give yourself a nice rock side to side, massaging out the low back. See if you can keep that tailbone pressing down to the ground. And then taking the nose to the knees. Give a nice squeeze here. Hug those knees in. Squeeze the fingers, squeeze the toes, squeeze your face, squeeze your glutes, squeeze your belly. As you inhale, we're going to extend everything out long. Fingertips to toes, touching the top and bottom of your mat. Stretch it out, grow 2 or 3 inches. Take one more huge breath in. Exhale into your Shavasana. Whatever your final resting pose is. So yeah, maybe you grab a blanket, grab some extra clothes. Make yourself incredibly comfortable here. And then once you find your position, take another nice big inhale, fill your lungs up. Open your mouth, let it all go. Feel the vibrations of your body. It should be kind of humming right now. So take these last few minutes of your practice and just pay attention and notice. Feel how these sensations have changed.
Yeah, I would like right now.
Now stay here as long as you'd like. The rest of this practice is yours. But if you're ready to get moving towards the next part of your day, you let those eyes flutter back open. Start to bring some movement back. Gently though. You don't need to jar yourself back awake. Maybe you bend your knees, hug them into the chest. Maybe you roll onto one side, kind of curling up, using your arm as a pillow. And then taking the next few breaths, slowly making your way back up to an easy seat. With your eyes closed and your hands to heart center. Thank you all so much for joining me this morning, sharing your practice. I hope you have a fantastic day, a fantastic week. Stay safe out there. Namaste.